tap to the head, under here, back up top, bam, pivot. This is what you call a combination punch on the inside mid-range. But one of the things that you better realize is that there's a reason why Manny Pacquiao is back in boxing. And I'm going to explain to you the devastation that this guy is going to bring. And I'm going to explain to you why it's so important that you guys pay attention to the 46-year-old who's got something that most athletes today don't have. And I'm going to explain to you and I'm going to demonstrate exactly how you'll get this thing and how you can actually have it too. Longevity is a real thing. But being the head coach of Manny Pacquiao's chief sparring partner, Rashad, it gave me deep enlightenment on how many different tools that Manny Pacquiao would pick up, because one of the things that happens in boxing is in a lineage, you get generational wealth passed down. And so you understand and develop the methods in which you pick up the muscle memory that somebody like Pacquiao will need at 46 years old. But it's just not, hey, I'm going to show up and just destroy somebody. It's strategy now. He's going up against a much younger fighter. And when we had to spar him, and we've been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao more than any other sparring partner. That's why it's called chief sparring partner over his whole career. Every glamoring year that he had. And when you see somebody like Manny, he's so quick with his feet, you have to understand how to space. He understood better how to close the gap rather than you understood how to space. But how does somebody like Manny Pacquiao train, especially for much bigger guys? This is one of the secrets that when we talk about boxing, I try to share with you guys, the younger generation, and for my former athletes who still stay in that mindset to stay in shape no matter what. You're not just going to let your body go. This is important that you understand. When you start developing yourself, you have a prime reason to build muscle. So you understand how much to build. So when you look at my frame, this is what you call a boxer's frame. You need bone density. And that helps you pop, 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 pop. You know, when you crack, you're cracking. Muscle doesn't do that. Regardless of popular belief, muscle does not give you punch power. It creates weight. So there's more of a thudding effect. And if you're quick with power, quick with twitch, then it's going to give you more of a snap. But what creates the pain, what creates the damage is bone density. So therefore, you got to add the proper resistance training to your routine. And that, my friend, could entail wood chopping, barbells, but know exactly how much barbell training that you will need to implement. Who out here, holla at me, chat, is doing barbell training right now, but you've done it to a place where you've gotten too thick, you're more buffy, too puffy, and you're not fast anymore. See, that's one of the things that you have to diagnose. Another thing that you want to pay attention to when you're training your body is not focusing on something that's not really going to benefit you in the end, because muscle is just going to operate and play as a bumper. So when you deflect the shot, boom, boom, you know, you got bumpers. But other than that, it's not going to make you stronger for the duration of the fight, because anyone who's picked up weight over the course of just to jump up a weight class, you know what they run into? They run into, holy crap, I'm getting tired in the second half of the fight. And that is because they picked up too much muscle. Muscle is not meant to be utilized for boxing. It's meant to be utilized to protect and give you that certain jolt. Okay, bone density is to create the pain. Boom. So understand how to develop barbell. Another good method is dumbbell training using control eccentric training. And that's, like I said, the variation of how you count during your repetition. And we call that time under tension, tut training. You can Google it. And this is what you're doing when you're building up your base. So Manny Pacquiao, a lot of you are Manny Pacquiao fans. A lot of you are not. You just like watch Manny Pacquiao fight. But being someone who was the head coach for his chief sparring partner for 7 years, I understand what it took to work against somebody like Manny Pacquiao. So a lot of you already know who I am. And for all the guys who are brand new, when you watch them get out there and you move, like you got to have dexterity. So you need to lift the muscle, that weight. You got to get the proper weight so you can block and deflect those shots, because Manny Pacquiao is fast, explosive. And when you got somebody that's fast and explosive, you got to understand how to deflect. So getting in the stance, deflecting, uh, keeping your head off the line, sliding in, sliding out, knowing how to move, posture your hands, knowing how to step around, come up with combinations, and posture him again. All of that is a sequence. Those are sequences. So if you don't understand that, it doesn't matter how much you work out. But the key is, why is somebody like Manny going to be able to come back and fight? So let me see. It is a powerful thing that he's showing you. There's a method that he has to come back and train his body, and he's going to do it because he understands how to be in there against the greatest fighters of all time. He's fought Shane, he's fought Margarita, he's fought Floyd, he's fought Marquez, he's fought all of the greatest fighters in the past 25 years, and to no avail. Every fight was a blockbuster. And that's the secret behind training your body. When you're physically trying to get there, and a lot of you do understand that sequencing, understand sequence matter, knowing how to bend your knees and then sit down in your stance and close the gap, learning how to pivot and turn the corner, close the gap. See, a lot of people don't understand things like closing the front door. They just watch boxing, but they don't have any insight. I'm generation 3, and I've passed 2 generations down. We're on generation 5. My teachings have coached up 300 Golden Glove champion coaches with their fighters. Okay, so this is where you are right now. So we do this for real. 4 Olympic tenures, teaching nothing but the sweetest of sciences. And when you're boxing and you're learning how to do that, and you're talking about guys like Manny Pacquiao, I'm gonna tell you another thing that people are not really clear about, what Manny Pacquiao can bring to the game, even at 46 years old. And you can push back on this or not, but one thing you better understand that up here, as long as you got the conditioning and you got this, you can always pull a young dragon into deep water and drown him. So you can expect to see something of the sort when he fights his next fight, because that matters in boxing. When you have a fighter in front of you and he does not understand the science of boxing, he's just used to throwing punches. He's just used to going after you. He doesn't understand there are angles to be attached to your offensive attack. There's punches that's going to hit you in places that you never knew had such an effect. Like Bernard said, in the lever. He never been hit in the lever. And when some of you guys get tested because you've been dependent on speed and power, and somebody hits you in the liver, then you realize there's a science to boxing, and the liver was never meant to be hit. These are things that guys like Manny Pacquiao understand, because Eddie Futch, rest in peace, sorry, they understand that there's a science to boxing. So for those of you who know there's a science to boxing, you've been focusing on learning boxing on YouTube, that's fine. You're here on Master Boxing page now. We go deep. And for those of you who love that stuff, then continue to follow for more. Now, that workout that you'll need is to make sure you don't put on too much mass. Let me see where my people's talking from. With Yeah, the lanky arms. Yeah, lanky arms. I got long arms. Look at my arm. I got the arm reach. I went to the doctor. They measured. They said, "Man, you got the arm reach of somebody 6'7". So when you got lanky arms, one of the things, if you're fighting somebody with lanky arms, then you better keep a jab going. It's always steady. You see how that camera is blinding you constantly? That's what you got to do. And then what we said, close that gap. Explosive. If you go to my pet channel and you write art of sparring, you'll pull up one of my videos that teaches you how to close the gap. And one of them is actually called Close the Gap. But then you have to learn how to put on that muscle. You see, I got just enough rounding because I can get huge, but you got to know exactly how much weight to put on, champ. When you're fighting somebody, if you got lanky arms, I posture. I use my arms to take away people's stuff. I do a lot of parrying, a lot of half step back, a lot of turning, understanding how to create angles and keeping my head off the line without using too much energy. Just boom, little head pop. And when you're talking about doing it that way, then you have a system of fighting. On my channel, we got tons of playlists that teaches you a lot of these things. Now, what I want you to understand about learning boxing, the issue isn't finding skills to learn. The problem that most people run into is what we call the continuum. The continuum is that thing going day after day. So you're finding a skill and then you're working on one skill and then you don't have a continuum. So if you want the continuum, basically just go into our description and you can opt into one of those programs that actually keeps you going, give you a program to do every day. And so you can develop. Have you been running into that? You know, you can find anything on YouTube, but the problem isn't the finding skills. The problem is the process in which you're developing it. It's called the continuum. If you need the continuum, then basically go down here and all you got to do is you can type the word skills and a link will appear down in the comment and you can go up to our website or just go to the link in the description and then go to the website and you can see if you're a beginner, we have a program called Prep School. Prep School is really good. And what it does is it teaches you all of the basic things, but puts it together for you. So you're just not learning one skill at a time. So if you want to learn how to pivot, boom, and close the front door, then you can do that. If you want to learn how to do really good offense, but come back and have defense, then you can learn 5 layers of defense as well. So it teaches you and you have a physical training program. I love prep school. It's just the greatest. So that's for people who are at the beginning stages and you just want to start. It doesn't matter if you've been practicing boxing before. What does matter is that you have something that you can continue to do and got a program in place for you. And then you have the physical training to go along with it. So you understand. And these things have been tested. I'm third generation Coach Kenny Adams, Coach George Benton, Coach and coach and fighter Archie, the old mongoose. That's my downline. And Coach Anthony Bradley, 2004 Olympic with Andre Ward and Andre Durrell. So you guys are in the right place if you want to actually learn from credible source that really understands the things that people are missing and make sure you're filling that gap. No matter what you do, lock into the actual process because the continuum is the issue, not finding skills because you can find skills all over YouTube. God forbid, there's so many people putting out skills. It just totally has just diluted what you actually have to learn. And so at the turn of the century, that was a big problem. A lot of fighters, they were learning all the fancy looking skills, but they didn't have a principle. And so your objective is to focus on the principles. And if you're in that position, you go and we have that prep school period. And that prep school is perfect for anyone who's new. But if you're actually competing right now, then the art of sparring, the art of fighting is a great compilation. And I know we got style people. So we have the peekaboo and we also have the Philly Shell series. It's more than one in each one. It's like 5 hours worth of lessons, so you'll always understand all the layers of the Philly shell and all of the layers of the peekaboo. And I'm from Archie Moore's downline, so our peekaboo is sustainable. You don't exhaust yourself out like Mike Tyson's version. We took a couple of good nuggets in pressing, but for the most part, everything you see in ours is slick work. Boom, head off the line. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a slick rabbit. So if you practice that, you're gonna learn that we're working with some world-class athletes. Some contenders are on the video. So it's very really good video. So if you're looking for that, make sure you just go to the link in the description. We got a great store. So hopefully you guys have something to grab onto. And if you're learning boxing, learn in a way that you can really elevate yourself. Don't just bounce around. Tips, tips, tips. That doesn't develop fighters. The continuum does. So hopefully this was something that gave you some value. And understand, doesn't matter how old you are when you fight. When you got a system of boxing, you can beat anybody at any time. So get your system in place, work your body the proper way. Understand bone density is from weights, making sure that you don't overtrain the body with too much resistance training, that you understand the balance. You can get battle ready. That's a physical training workout that we have in our store. Battle ready. If you use the word MEM day, that's Memorial Day, MEM day 25, you'll get discount. And it's just like I said, it's all good. Take care of your body, take care of your mind, and everything's possible, man. Who you got? Pacquiao, Barrios. Holla at your boy, Coach Bradley, signing out from South Florida. And thanks for hanging out with us on the page. I'll see you soon in the winner's circle.